We're back for session 7 of Ash Harrison's Numismatic interview, and let's talk about you put together a grading set of Morgan dollars and PCGS holders, but you chose a fairly interesting coin for your set.
I did. I saw a grading set of Morgan dollars at the ANA in Charlotte in the early 2000s. I don't know if it was 2001, 2003, somewhere in there. It's the only time that the ANA has come to Charlotte for the summer thing, and they had it on display, and I went, I want to do that. And I stopped and thought it through, and I said, but I want to do it. I do varieties. I want to do it with a particular coin that I know for sure I've got the same pair of dies all the way through, because I don't want die and the strike and the characteristics of a particular mint to get in the way. So I chose the Hot Lips to
for the viewers. What can you tell us? What is
sure.
What is a Hot Lips?
Hot Lips is another 1888 variety that is a double die obverse, and it's got the strongest double die of obverse on any Morgan dollar.
Okay, so for people who don't know what a double die is,
when the dies were being made from the working hub, they have to make multiple impressions of the hub into the die steel to create a full strike on the coin, on the die. And they made an impression, and then they went to make the second impression, and it rotated just slightly, and it comes down, and it basically makes a blurred vision. It obliterates a whole lot of what it hits, but where things, it makes doubling. It makes like a blurred image of the coin. And you can pick up on it if you study enough coins. Double dies is an interesting topic. You can go out online and find all you ever wanted to know about it. There's doubling in the dies, and there's machine doubling, but this is a particular thing that occurs with the dies themselves. The interesting part about the Hot Lips is that it doubled north to south. And so the lips look like there's 4 of them. When you look at Liberty clearly, you can see that the lips there's 4 lips there instead of 2. Hence the name Hot Lips. And we were just discussing whether that came about as a part of MASH, and it's very possible that it did.
We'll show our viewers here a picture of one here of VAM World.
So the Hot Lips is a coin that is interesting because you can own one very easily. This is one of the easiest varieties in the Morgan Dollar series to own. They must have made 100,000 of them. This coin had a very, very full life. You can find coins that are very early die stage, and you can find them that are very, very worn. The dies are very, very worn, and the edges are crumbling, and so you can tell that this thing had a full life. The coins are findable in normally fairly low grades, and they get very difficult to find above AU50. The coins get pretty expensive in the AU grades, and they were more expensive back around 2008, but it's drawn so much attention since eBay's been out. People find them all the time. They list them. They go out on eBay. The way that the grading services grade them has changed over the years. They used to be very strict on the grade, and now they've gotten loose on it. And so AU55 and up are more available, but a true AU58, it used to be an AU58 at PCGS was so close to an uncirculated coin that it was a borderline call. they used to sell for upwards of $10,000 in AU-58. Nowadays, you can get an AU-58 if it's one of the more lower grade AU-58s. You can get one for around $5,000. Uncirculated hot lips are extremely rare. There are only a handful of them out there. I have a couple of them here, and we'll talk about them now. So I wanted to put together a grading set from Poor 1 all the way up to whatever grade I could find it in uncirculated. The highest one that I've found that I like as for the grade is a Mint State 61. And so we're putting that picture up now. This coin is it looks like a better coin than 61 at first glance. However, the coin does have a tiny bit of cabinet friction, and it is a late die stage, so it does not have a great strike, and it has very, very light hairlines, but not like anything that would ever make it think it's clean. The next coin down is really the monster. This coin was Leroy Van Allen's coin. He's kind of the owner. He's where the word VAM came from. The VA part of the word VAM, or the moniker VAM, is from Van Allen. That was Leroy's coin. It's a Mint State 60 deep mirror proof-like. This is the only known proof-like hot lips out there. It must have been one of the first 5 coins off of the die, and the coin is a borderline call on AU-58 to 60, but for PCGS to put a coin in a deep mirror proof-like holder, they pretty much want to call it 60. So they put it in the 60 dimple holder. It crossed over from an Anax 60 dimple. AU-58, in a grading set, it has extremely light wear, and it's only going to be on the high points. That is a honest AU-58. The coin looks very, very close to uncirculated. You can find AU-58s these days that aren't even as nice as this 55 I'm about to show. The AU-55 that I have, it's going to, now this is my own personal opinion. I believe that one of the big differences between the way PCGS grades AU coins and the way NGC grades AU coins, I believe that, on Morgan's anyway, I believe that PCGS grades AUs by the amount of luster that is left on the original coin, whereas NGC tends to grade on the amount of meat that is on that coin. If it's got basically all of the meat, but it has some luster breaks, you can get a very high grade on NGC, whereas if you don't have 80% of the luster, you'll never get an AU-58 from PCGS. I think PCGS gives coins with about 30% of the original luster a 53, about 50% a 55, 80% a 58, and so on. And whereas NGC, you can find coins with broken luster, but all of the meat is there. And you start getting a little bit of wear, and you can see the wear. It still has to be some luster to be AU pretty much. But this group of coins here goes from 61 backwards to AU-50. I then can show you, we'll just do this this way. Here's 45. 45, you've lost most of the original luster, and you still have most of the design, but the break on that is generally if you've got wear on the top of the head of the eagle, you're not going to be able to get an AU-50. The head on the eagle pretty much has to be full for it to be a 50. To get 40, you need to have all of the eagle's right wing or the viewer's left wing. To get 35, you start seeing a very, very tiny amount of wear on the eagle's right wing. It just kind of gets flattened right there. To get 30, it's still kind of counting backwards. You need to have full obverse cotton balls, and about 50% of that eagle's.
So you did this with this because every single coin has to be off the same die.
Yes, and this is pretty true of all Morgans. I mean, you can apply it anyway. You do have to look at the coin and determine, hey, is this a poorly struck coin? Is it a poorly struck die or not? But if it's a relatively well struck die, then these are the grades that will be assigned to them when you see actual amounts of wear against that die. Poorly struck dies, though, as soon as you start getting wear, will drop. That you may never find an AU53 of certain dies, because once they started wearing, they went right to extra fine. I mean, it just happens. There are coins that just don't have enough meat there. But
So
30.
So when we get down here to the towards the bottom, I'll show everybody again. Once again, this is his grading set, all Hot Lips coins. We get down here to the bottom.
Yeah,
there's not much left on some of these coins.
exactly. And when you get down to the goods and below, you're starting to lose most of the detail of the coin. Interesting note, there, the Hot Lips is a coin that you do not have to have a date on the coin to identify the date and mint mark of it. If you see those lips, it's the only one that ever came off of the presses at during the striking the Morgan dollars that had that enormous doubling on the lips. So there is a poor one here that you cannot see the date, you cannot see the mint mark, but you can see the lips, and they assigned that coin a poor one. However, subsequently, this coin has been on the PCGS website on their grading set for years now, and it is now listed as not gradable. And it's an interesting concept because it is a graded coin that they actually have listed as not gradable. But I contend that there are coins that can be graded below a poor one. I'd like to call it a basal state 0. I'd love to ask the ANA to include that in their Sheldon grading system, because there are coins out there that can be determined the date and mint from the design alone, or some sort of artifact they picked up in the dies when the dies were made. There are coins in the Morgan dollars like the Scarface. Of course, there aren't low-grade Scarfaces out there. The tail bar, the 1890cc, it has an enormous gouge between the tail and the wreath that is easily visible on all types of those coins. That coin could be, you could get a basal state 0 in that coin. But needless to say, you could have single-year design coins like Chain Sense, 1790. Well, no, I guess you couldn't do this 2 years on 1796, 97 halves. But there are a number of coins out there that could easily have that design, have that grade. Anyway, this is a grading set. It was about a 10-year, 12-year project. A lot of people go, what was the last coin you could find? And the last coin I found was the poor one. And it actually came out, I got this basal state poor one before I got the other poor one. It was a gift from a friend. He carried the coin in his pocket for several years to get it down to that grade. And that was a gift that I can never repay.
Do you have plans to finish the set on the upper scale?
Well, there is a Mint State 62 out there. I don't like the coin particularly. However, it is in the holder. I tend to not like to buy coins that I don't believe make the grade. So that's why it's not in here. The coin has been offered to me. I have seen an NGC 62 that I think is a possible coin that can meet that grade. However, currently they want $63,000 for the coin, and I'm not willing to pay that. But should one come up in 62 or 63 that I think I can, that I believe I could own, I certainly will add it to the set.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this with us. This is quite a unique grading set, and the coins are very nice too. They have a nice color to them, and it's really a nice set. You can tell you spent a lot of time and effort to put this together.
Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and take another break now. We'll be back. Please like and subscribe so you'll be notified when we add more videos. Thank you.